afternoon.
Yep. And welcome to Jacksonville City Hall and the Office of the Mayor. Our Mondays with the Mayor, which is always the first Monday of the month, God willing, is coming to you live from Jacksonville City Hall. A little change of pace. Mayor Donna Deegan just popping in a few minutes ago, and thanks for having us.
How do you like the office?
I do. A lot of color. I really like the artwork. A lot of Jacksonville pride in here.
The artwork is by a local artist named Jack Allen, and it's called Unity. And that's we have those spread all over the mayor's office and City Hall here. So a lot of color. I like a little bit of bright pop, considering.
Yeah,
you know.
And I also see the Jaguar Stadium of the Future front and center, that
betcha.
daily reminder. And then you get to see the construction on your drive in. How is it coming along so far?
Oh my gosh, so great. It's so exciting to see all the cranes in the air down here. And I think that Stadium of the Future and all of that construction that's going to happen around it, all the things that are happening out east, and it's just going to be amazing to watch all that fill in. That's not even there yet. So we're talking about the things we're going to see over the next several years. And every time I look at that, I just think of what a transformative project that's going to be.
You mentioned out east last month when we had you in studio, we were talking about the development committee that will oversee the spending and the resources on the community development piece of that.
Yeah.
You named some members. Where are we at in that process, and when will they start making firm decisions on spending the money?
Yeah, we're in the confirmation process right now. People have been nominated. We're confirming those people through council. That, as you know, takes a while to get through, but that's in the process of happening now. So we should be there shortly. I mean, they are. I think everybody's already been having conversations, and I think people have a good idea of where they want things to go. It's just a matter of getting all those folks in place who have a stake out east and want to make sure that we do this the right way. I mean, it's a balance, right? You want to make sure that economic engine is revving out there, and you also want to make sure it stays out east.
What have you heard from the community that you want to make sure that we take the painstaking effort to keep in place, or the kind of heritage or the kind of feel that they have, so that it's not another commercial development sort of thing?
I think you nailed it. I think that is exactly what we're hearing from the community. I think there have been wonderful efforts from a variety of different sources out there. And of course, everybody's got their own opinion, but at the end of the day, it comes down to, I really do believe everyone wants to coalesce around the idea that yes, we want to create better housing opportunities there, better workforce development out there. We want to make sure that we are maximizing this effort for out east, but we want it to remain that cultural piece that has always been the bedrock of Jacksonville. And I think that's going to be the balance that this committee will have to strike. And I think the people that have been appointed are in a great position to do that.
Just because I'm a natural curiosity sort of person, we walked in and the lights were just turning on Monday morning at City Hall. What does Monday typically look like here? What are you doing, if not talking to the radio station?
Well, we're basically all meeting in the morning. My staff is all in the rooms in back of where we are now, and we're all gathering to go over the schedule of the day and to talk over issues that may come up or things that we need to do. I mean, Monday is just sort of your reset day, but Mondays are usually pretty busy around here. After we talk to you, I mean, we start with you and then
we appreciate that.
continuing very busy.
May, a big spotlight on small businesses, and I know a big focus on your campaign and ultimately now in the administration has been to try to expedite the process for small businesses. Do you feel like you've been able to achieve the steps to speed up the process from idea to funding to permitting to actually have a friend of ours just opened up a small business. I'll give her a shout out. It's called Gray's Craze.
Very
and
good.
It's over by the Avenues Mall. And
Well,
it's
I'm
a
glad you told
charcuterie
us
board
about
business.
that. I'm so glad that you
Not a
you
bad
pointed
place
that
to
out.
try for your next
Okay.
hosting gig. Anyway,
I love charcuterie, by the way.
the permitting process was cumbersome. And
Yeah.
to talk to a small business owner, it's cumbersome. Have you achieved the kind of gains that you've wanted to so far?
Absolutely, I think we have. It is a process. Turning the wheel at City Hall is you find it very quickly when you come from the business world into the government world that government likes to move slow. So I think one of the reasons we have been so successful is that we have been very intentional about making sure things moved along quickly. Melissa Ross is in charge of our chop list that we have here at City Hall, which means she stays on folks who aren't on time and on budget with things, and make sure that we keep those things going. And permitting, Nina Sickler has been just incredibly helpful with all of that. But yes, we have come a very long way, have expedited the time that it takes for businesses to get permits. We have created so many more JSUBs and millions more in JSUB.
What's a JSUB?
I'm sorry, Jacksonville Small and Emerging Businesses. Our goal is always to be the small business capital of the Southeast. And I know you just saw that Wallet Hub said that we were the #3 large city to create a small business. That's a fantastic. We've gotten so many wonderful economic indicators from different sources around the country, but this is one we're especially proud of because small business is the backbone of our community. So whether it's permitting, whether it simply is responsiveness, whether it is those centers that help people to focus on how they make their business successful in that first year, because we know most small businesses, if they're going to fail, are going to fail in that first year. We've created these centers around the city to help small businesses with that, whether it's the permitting process, all of those things. And also, by the way, we have a very friendly business climate here. You know, we have low taxes. We have, as far as the rest of the state and the country is concerned, affordability here is pretty good. We still have a ways to go because our people are still hurting in terms of affordability. But at the end of the day, we're in great shape to be that small business capital of the Southeast. So what we're going to do, Rich, over the next month, in Small Business Week and then month, we're going to be highlighting different small businesses. I don't know if you saw last week, we were over at Chancho King over in Murray Hill. They've done a tremendous job. They're a finalist for that James Beard Award. And wow, what great food. I don't know if you have been there.
No, but I looked at their menu after we did the story on Jacksonville's Morning News, and that's a lunch destination must for us.
You have got to go.
Yeah.
I literally ate so much I didn't want to continue with the rest of my day and still had so much left over for dinner. It was unbelievable. But the food is absolutely, I did not frankly know what Ecuadorian food was. And it is so delicious. They do such a great job.
So what did you tell them, and what are you telling small businesses now that will be coming next? What's that next thing? Is it just continuing to expedite the permitting process, or is it something else?
Look, all the processes have to continue to improve. Permitting has improved dramatically. We want it to keep going in that direction. We want to make sure that Jacksonville Small and Emerging Business Program continues to add, what is it that you're missing? What do you need? How can we help you navigate the pitfalls of your business? Those are all things that we're continuing to work on. But I think part of it is simply shining a light on what's available to those people. We've said this so often, education is so much of what we need to do in the city. We've got a lot of great programs that a lot of businesses aren't aware of. And we also have to make sure that our small businesses that haven't historically been connected to city resources have an opportunity to learn more about how they can get involved. And that's another reason for having these small business centers around the city. We have to expand that opportunity to more cities. We have historically been a city that's given the same opportunities over and over again to a lot of the same people. It's important that we broaden that, and we're trying to do that and have done that quite effectively.
Mondays with the Mayor, live on Jacksonville's Morning News in depth from Jacksonville City Hall in the Mayor's office, just down the road from us. North Bank Riverwalk is coming together and nearly done. And if you haven't been down there recently, whether it's either at skate park or you can see obviously at on Saturdays for the Riverside Arts Market, it has been coming along. What will we see once it's ultimately done? And also ties in music back behind the Times Union Center for those of us who have lived here long enough.
Yeah, we're going to have a big sort of a reopening of the North Bank Riverwalk because of all that area that is going back to the west. It's incredible. The Music Heritage Park is going to honor. We have such a musical heritage in this city of musicians that have come from here and gone on to fame and fortune, and also that just mean a lot to us. They'll be highlighted in Music Heritage Park, which will be just to the west. I am challenged sometimes with direction. I'm looking out. Yes, that's west. Just to the west of Riverfront Plaza. Then you're going to have that McCoy's Creek area, the overpass. You're going to have the Corkscrew Park. Eventually, you're just going to have a continuous riverfront park, but this will be the next wonderful phase of that with all sorts of great programming that will happen as well. So we're going to open that. And Rich, we've had tens of thousands of people come visit down here since we've opened just the handful of new parks that we have. Can you imagine once it is a continuous riverfront park on both banks, which is all in the pipeline and happening. And then that connects to the Emerald Trail. I mean, our city is just going to be, I love the thought of taking full advantage of this beautiful water and weather and all that we have here to offer in Jacksonville, and to get people moving their bodies instead of being in their cars all the time. It's great to see the excitement around those parks.
From a spending standpoint, how do you balance the needs of addressing those and the desires versus what you mentioned earlier, which is the affordability issue and that families are hurting? How are you weighing those decisions?
Well, remember, these parks are largely funded. I mean, that was part of not only the community benefit agreement with the Jaguars, but part of what we put in place back when we did all that. So that part is not new spending primarily. But I'm going to say this again, and I don't think I can say it enough, because every now and then I will still hear somebody say, why are we spending all this money downtown when we have so much going on around the city? And the reason is very, very simple. First of all, every successful city, or most successful cities, have a thriving downtown. It's what draws young people to your city. It's what draws professionals to your city. But at the end of the day, it also is going to bring tremendous revenue into the city of Jacksonville. You saw the state of downtown. Tourism numbers are up. We've got more people visiting than we've had in a long time. We've got more people living down here. All of that is extra money into the city coffers. And what can you do with that? It means you're getting the greatest return on your investment for your tax dollar that you can invest back into the rest of the city of Jacksonville without raising taxes. And that's the goal. We have the lowest taxed city of any large city in the state of Florida by far. And that's one of the things that makes us so business friendly and so friendly for families. We're going to make that better by creating more affordable housing. We're going to make that better by making healthcare more accessible. We're going to make that better by focusing on those affordability issues. But at the end of the day, that comes with taking the tax dollars that we do get and getting the greatest return on investment for those tax dollars. And that is downtown Jacksonville.
We're into the early part of May. It will be here before we know it, your budget address to City Council. It's coming up in early July.
I can't believe, seems like it was just January, doesn't it?
Right.
Weren't we just in the playoffs?
It seems like we were, right?
I know.
And then all of a sudden those cranes went up.
All of a sudden we weren't, yeah.
Where are you at in the overall presentation? 50% there, 80% there? How close are you?
We're in the process of the mayor's budget review committee right now. You know, that is the process we're in. We're talking to all of our department heads right now to see, you know, what is it that you need, what can you do without. I want to say again that outside of public safety, which has had to grow by necessity because of the population growth in our city, we have held the size of city government flat. Even though we've grown by 17,000 people a year, we have not grown city government. And that will be the case again this year. We will not be adding outside of public safety additional people. So again, that's because of our lean processes. It's all the things that we've put in place to make sure that we have the greatest efficiencies here at City Hall to make sure that we are not having to grow the number of people here.
Will you be seeking a reduction in property taxes?
Will I be seeking a reduction in property taxes? I will not. As I said before, we had a council that decided last year under great political pressure to take our property taxes, which are by far the lowest in the state of Florida for any big city, by far, and do not even cover anymore the entirety of our public safety, and cut those. Which took $15 million out of our coffers for roads and sidewalks and public safety and other things. Okay, and gave the average homeowner about $1.50 back in their pocket. So to me, it was a lot of performance with not a lot of payoff for the citizens. And by the way, almost 50% of our folks rent, so they didn't get a thing back from that. When I talk about affordability, I'm saying let's do things that really move that dial. Let's create opportunities for people to save on health care. Let's create opportunities for them to save on housing. Let's create more affordable ways in which they can access food. Those are the things that we can do to make meaningful differences in the lives of our citizens. Not say, hey, we're going to tell you we're cutting your taxes, but really you're going to get $1 back if you happen to be a homeowner, and everybody else, you know, tough luck. I am not going to myself. I can't tell you what City Council is going to do. But I made that argument all last year. I am happy to defend that argument. There's a lot of things that are done for political expediency in this business. I'm not going to do those things. I'm going to be honest with the people of Jacksonville and say there are many things we can do that will save you money. I haven't raised anybody's taxes. And I would like for you to go back and find the last mayor that can say that.
Will you, or how are you preparing for the likely fight then that lies ahead with City Council? Are you already preparing by having conversations? Can you?
Yeah, we are having those conversations. I will tell you that I'm already had wonderful conversations with Nick Howland, who will become the new council president in July. I think we are largely focused on a lot of the same goals. I think he understands the importance of making sure we keep our momentum going in Jacksonville. Obviously, we have. This is what I always talk about. If you are truly going to serve the people, you serve the people by being bipartisan, and you work with everybody, which is why my administration looks like it does. Why we have Democrats, Independents, and Republicans in my administration. Why I think I've worked so well, in large part with this council, getting 98 to 99% of what we've asked for through the council, regardless of the occasional, political thing you'll hear, right? You have a couple of folks who like to spend more time on that. At the end of the day, we all know that we need to keep people in infrastructure. We need that they need their roads and their sidewalks and their potholes. That's what we're focused on here in the city of Jacksonville. They need a job. They need their health care to be affordable. They need their home to be affordable. And we all agree with that. We may have different ways of getting there, but I think you get the best results when you have everybody's voices at the table and meaningfully discussing. And I'll tell you the thing I will say that's always been my experience with Nick Howland, and that is if I can sit with him and make a reasoned argument, and I like to think I'm the same way, he'll listen to that. It's not just, okay, I have to knee jerk to whatever so I think that's I'm hopeful that's going to be a good relationship. And I am looking forward to this next year with council. Believe it or not, even in an election year, I think it can be a good year.
Well, you mentioned the election. Since our last visit, you have filed for re-election. Big stunner, breaking news.
Yeah.
Who knew that you were going to run for re-election?
Yeah.
But,
not a surprise.
I'm sure you gave it some thought. Do I want to do this for 4 more years?
I didn't. When I first got in, I knew I wanted to be here for 8 years, and I haven't changed that at all. You got to keep getting stuff done.
How do you avoid, and do you have regrets about the last interaction, how nasty things got near the end especially, though
do I have regrets?
I wonder, how do you avoid a repeat performance, can you?
I never ran one negative ad the last time. It was a very nasty campaign because of the folks who were running those campaigns. And at the end of the day, I will say that Daniel Davis and I have crafted a very successful working relationship. I would say we are friends. And I think we both sat down and put all of that aside. And I said, look, I know how things can get. He was tremendous at coming and saying, look, I'm sorry about how that went. And I want to work together. And we have worked very effectively together. I think that any time hyper-partisanship takes over, the people lose. And I don't want that to ever happen in this city. I will work with anybody to make Jacksonville successful. And I think I've shown that in the way that I've governed in our city. I think there's still some threats to that, but I hope we don't have another campaign like the last one, because all it does is divide people and split the baby over partisanship. It has nothing to do with moving Jacksonville forward. I think you can have a very spirited debate about priorities and direction and all those things without lies and half-truths and ugly ads.
Coming up in the next few weeks, May 15th will be Bike to Work Day. And, we see the politicians, you'll be doing it as well, coming here. The reality is this is such a large city. We are not a very bike-friendly community in many ways.
Yeah.
In what way, and I know you'll probably be biking to work, that'll be a nice long haul.
I won't be biking from the beach,
only
because I offered to, and they said, no, we really want to be, I don't want to do it in the dark. And they want me to go from Friendship Fountain here, which will be obviously very simple, but since I hurt my tendon, I've been doing a lot of biking, so I'm comfortable on the bike right now. But I don't know that I would bike all the way from the beach in the dark. But otherwise I really would. I think it's, we got to get better, certainly, and we have gotten better. But I think that's another thing that'll be great about the Emerald Trail. Once it's done, you'll have people that'll be able to navigate a good deal of the city on their bicycle.
Do you anticipate people using that a little bit more than around the communities where we're seeing, and we've all seen it, where someone will just dart right out into traffic? I mean, we have to use those to get to and from.
We got to do better with bike lanes. Certainly, we have to do better with that. I'd like to see more protected bike lanes. We don't have a lot of those. But we are moving in that direction in some of the areas. But yeah, I do think it's an opportunity. It's also, Rich, why we talk about creating those clustered communities where people don't have to necessarily bike across town unless they have to for work. It's one of those things where people like to be able to live where they where they work, and we're going to create more of those opportunities for people.
We're going to continue the conversation visually on YouTube and Facebook and WOKV.com. But before we do, and before we head back to Christine Bellino for Jacksonville's Morning News in Depth, Sunday's Mother's Day, so an early Mother's Day, and your message to all mothers in our community?
Oh, thank you so much for all that you do. I am so very grateful to have my kids here in Jacksonville. We'll be spending Mother's Day together, and I have to tell you, my son-in-law has become a pizza aficionado. He makes pizzas, and I have been invited over for the homemade pizza for Mother's Day. So I am so stoked. I am counting the minutes. So I would say to all those mothers out there, whatever your version of pizza or whatever it is with your kids, I hope you get a chance to do that, and you're so very appreciated for everything you do for us.
I hope he knows it doesn't get him out of buying flowers, too.
Oh, the son-in-law? Oh, yeah. It does. It 100% gets him out
Different
of buying.
kind of flower.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the invite into your office today. Jacksonville Mayor Donna Deegan, Mondays with the Mayor, every first Monday of the month on Jacksonville's Morning News in Depth. Again, we'll continue the conversation with a couple of other topics, including the city's litter effort, a new way to aggressively target litter, blight, and more. Look for that at WOKV.com, YouTube, and Facebook. Christine Bellino back in Jacksonville's Morning News in Depth in just a moment. I'm Rich Jones, live from Jacksonville City Hall.